You mean you're not doing this extemporaneously, Rick?
Can we try to make this take like 7 minutes?
Yeah, we certainly can.
Well, that's how much time I have. So
Okay.
All right.
You'll be back for full board?
yeah.
Okay. Okay, we'll get started as soon as we can.
All right. We are live on YouTube, so we can begin whenever you're ready.
Okay, thank you. Welcome to the October 14th, 2020 meeting of the Community Board 6th Budget and Governmental Affairs Committee. My name is Rick Eggers, and I'm chair of the committee. This meeting is called to order at 6:04 p.m. Tonight, we are joined by District Manager Jesus Perez and Community Associate Brendan Berth. Tonight, Karen Moore will be taking tonight's minutes. Thank you, Karen. So next is our attendance, and that is by roll call. Brendan, will you conduct the roll call, please?
Okay. Committee members, I will call your name and you will unmute yourselves. When your name is called, please say present. I will announce if there is quorum. Rick Eggers?
Present.
Reshma Patel?
Present.
Jim Collins?
Present.
V. Disman?
Present.
Paige Judge?
Present.
Karen Moore?
Present.
Gene Santoro?
Here.
Brian Van Nieuwenhoven? Here. Claude Winfield?
Present.
Eva Marie Lassiter? Eva Marie? Okay, we have quorum.
Okay, thank you. Next is to adopt the agenda. It was just distributed in advance. If there's no objection, we'll adopt the agenda as stated.
So moved.
Yep. And seeing no objection, we will adopt the agenda. And let's see, the minutes of the September 14th meeting were distributed ahead of time. If you object to adopting the minutes, you may raise your hand through Zoom. Otherwise, we will continue we will accept the minutes. Do I see any objections? Seeing no objections, the minutes are adopted. Okay, some ground rules. We've got a very short meeting tonight. Let's try to stick with the schedule, stick with the timing. I promise I will, which is saying a lot. And please don't use the chat for anything other than if it's a committee member and it should be brought to, if it's business, you should be raising your hand. Chat might be for something supportive, but if it's committee business, you should raise your hand and we should discuss it. Members of the public may make comments in chat, but we may not be able to get to you because we only have 30 minutes for this meeting. We'll do our best, though, to get to any questions that are raised. Okay. So the first item on the agenda is the priorities list that was distributed in advance. These are the priorities we discussed at the last meeting, both for capital and for expense. You'll notice that there are some additional items that have been brought to us by the district office. I put those where I thought they belonged. They are by no means, that's by no means a given. You can move those around. They are both in expense. One has to do with trash cans and one has to do with graffiti. Okay, so but you've all had a chance to look at these. Is there any further comment on the priority order? We're not looking at the topics themselves, we're looking at the priority order. Okay, so if everybody's content with the order given,
Question?
yes.
What is more stabilization beds?
That was brought to us by the Housing and Homeless Committee. Stabilization beds are for people who are found on the street who are able to be brought into emergency housing, but for whom there is no bed. And the idea is to bring them in so that you don't lose track of them, so that they are under some care and then other housing be found for them. It's kind of
In district, out of district?
the committee is asking for something near the district because there's no real identification of a location for these in the district. The idea would be something a little bit, it's kind of on line of the safe harbor on 17th Street. It would be that kind of person who they've been able to finally get into housing, but there may not be a bed for that person. So they will
The safe harbor on 17th Street being the
A
former,
safe haven, safe haven.
the hotel?
It's the former Maplethorpe house.
Oh, that one.
Yeah,
No,
but they
that's-
call it safe havens.
Safe
yeah.
Haven, thank you, that's right. It's Safe Haven,
Okay.
okay?
I just have concerns, Chair, that, we have expressed a desire in our budget priorities for more affordable housing and more additional housing for homeless. And I have two issues with that. First of all is the vector that we discussed at our last meeting, the vector of the spending as opposed to the specificity of the spending, more versus a specific number of our burden. But I also have an issue generally with the notion that none of this stuff ever seems to end up north of 59th Street and from 5th to the river. The only shelter that I'm aware of in that entire area, which, as we all know, is pretty much the ATM for political campaigns, is the shelter at the Park Avenue
The
Armory,
Yeah.
which houses only women and only women over aged 45. Okay, and I think that in terms of fair share distribution, the Upper West Side, they've been moved down here. The people down on Wall Street, William Street, I understand, are also objecting. I mean, and Community District 6 is becoming the place to house homeless. And we shouldn't have to take more than our fair share burden. That's a violation of the city charter, as you know, and we really need to I think we need to be a little bit more, I think we need to push back more and that we it's just getting ridiculous. I mean, this is a committee issue more than it is a budget, priorities issue. But in terms of what we keep doing, it's absurd.
Yeah, the district office has some figures for us on fair share, and we are currently apparently within our fair share. The district that it seems to be taking the most problems is actually 5, our neighbor to the west,
Right.
where a lot has been put there.
Right. However,
I'm not sure there's anything we can do about saying it has to be an 8.
Well, the problem is that the people in East Midtown, like Murray Hill in that area,
Yes.
okay, all of the homeless that they have in that neighborhood are adjoining the homeless in the mid-20s in District 5.
Yes.
So that the folks in that neighborhood are being basically overburdened. I mean, we keep providing homeless shelters. We don't do anything in terms of getting the able-bodied off the street. We don't provide them job training. We don't provide them support in terms of social services beyond, a bed and 3 squares, whatever. The policy's horrible, and we keep subsidizing it in our district.
Yeah. Unfortunately, it's not something we can deal with tonight.
No, I understand.
But I think your
But
point
I
is,
will be,
I think
I
your
will
point
be,
is certainly worth discussing at the Housing and Homeless Committee.
I
And
will be voting against this budget tonight.
the priorities.
Right.
And I mean, that's perfectly fine.
Yep.
But may I ask you, the rationale is because there's too much of an emphasis on the homeless without any kind of solution?
Yeah. No solution. Plus, we're overburdened. I mean, put some of this stuff up where the donors live. Okay.
Okay.
Rick Brian Van Nieuwenhoven would like the floor.
Brian, you have the floor.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I lost track. I was wondering if there was a budgetary item about what we're talking about. Is there anything about the ordering of it, or is there anything about what we're asking for that's in dispute, or is it just like we're talking about the item itself?
The item itself.
The concept itself. It's not it's not one of the items on our priority list as such, because we do have items for supportive housing. We do have items for affordable housing. We do have items for special services for homeless children. So we do have a number of items for homelessness. It's true. But I think that's as much as we can say right now. I mean, there's no separate item that says, we in fact took off an item.
Right.
B. Disman would like the floor.
B has the floor.
So can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Good. So I support this item because I think it's important to move a budget that talks about stabilization, because that's really, and beds, because that's on the road to deal with homelessness and people with mental disabilities. I think the issue that is raised is really a committee issue.
Yes.
And I think this is a budget issue. I'm fine with it because I really feel it's part of the overall therapy that is really needed.
So you're speaking to the stabilization beds item.
Absolutely.
Which is really what we should be looking at, and not the general discussion of sheltering the homeless, which is a separate committee item.
That's
Right.
correct.
Okay. Is there any other comments?
How many are the stabilization beds? Is there a quantum for it, or
If
just
I
a vector?
remember correctly, they were really talking in some number less than 10.
Okay.
I don't want you to hold me to that, but I'm pretty sure that's what it was.
Right.
It'll appear in the written materials that Corinna's prepared. I'll try to locate that and get the information to you, Jim.
Right. Thank you.
Okay, seeing no other comments on the items and their priorities, if someone who's, let's see, let me take a look at I don't see anything in chat from any of the, are there any committee, if there's anybody from the board who's on the call who would like to make a comment, they would be.
I don't want to make a comment, but could you go back to the capital? You had 2 new items. I just have a question about it.
Okay.
What committee did the public bathroom facilities come out of?
Housing and homeless.
And also the housing for the seniors, housing and homeless?
Yes, the seniors housing is actually a split. It was formerly included in supportive housing,
Mhm.
but they fall under 2 different items on in the canned language of the district needs. So we're separating out the 2 items and the 1 item into 2.
Does the 197A working committee get to submit items?
They could have.
Okay, because that seems like that would have been one of their items. Okay,
Okay.
also, in
But
addition.
are you suggesting that maybe I should get in touch with them and get their input?
Well, when they're discussing the Mount Sinai site, they're discussing senior housing.
That's good. Well, I'll get into that's. I can't remember the woman whose name it was.
Kativa.
Okay.
Kavitha.
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 It looks like it looks like B. Disman would like the floor, and then after that, Brian Van Nieuwenhoven.
Okay, B, you're up.
No, I think I didn't put my hand down, so that was from before.
All
Okay,
right.
thank you. Brian?
Yeah, I was just going to move to adopt both the capital and expense orderings.
Okay, is there a second?
Second. Yep.
That's-
Second.
Okay, can we go to a vote, please? And I will go back to Brendan to carry out a roll call vote. We're gonna vote on both together as a single motion?
Bundle.
Yeah,
Bundle.
we'll call it a single motion. Thank you.
Let's swaddle it. Yeah, I mean, what the,
Excuse me, Rick, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Oh, it's Eva Lassiter. There was some problem. I was muted out for attendance, but I just wanted to make sure you could hear me for the meeting now. Thank you.
Okay, good. Make sure she's noted as being present.
Yep, will do.
Thank
Yep.
you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, so on the vote on the priorities for capital and expense, Brian, if you could, no, I'm sorry, not Brian, Brendan, could you take care of that, please?
Yes. So, just a moment. Okay, Rick Eggers,
Yes.
Reshma Patel.
Here. Oh, yes, sorry. I got confused.
Here, yes. Jim Collins,
No on the vectors without quantums.
B. Disman,
Yes.
Paige Judge, Paige.
Been raising it for 3 years.
Yes, yes, yes.
Okay,
Can you?
Karen Moore,
Yes. Could you tell me what Jim, can you tell me what you mean by vectors for the minutes?
In other words, saying more or less, whatever, more meaning the direction of the spending versus the actual
The vector.
amount of the
got it.
spending. And I've been raising this same issue at least 2 and I think 3 years.
Okay, thank you.
and we're listening, Jim.
All right.
Gene Santoro,
Yeah, sure.
Brian Van Nieuwenhoven,
Here and yes.
Claude Winfield,
Yes.
Eva Marie Lassiter.
Yes.
Okay, with 9 in favor, 1 against, no abstain, none not entitled, the resolution passes.
Thank you. We'll now move to the rest of the resolution in effect. What we've got is kind of a transmittal portion of the resolution. This isn't done every year, but in years past, meaning 3 or 4 years ago, we always had some kind of formal resolution and then attached the list to it. Has everybody had a chance to look at that resolution,
Yes.
Yes.
that draft? Do I have any comments on that draft? Hearing none, we can go to vote on the resolution approving Manhattan Community Board 6 budget priorities for fiscal year 2022, the narrative portion. And I will have Brendan take the role for that.
Okay, so like before, when I call your name, either say in favor, against, abstain, or not entitled. Rick Eggers,
In favor?
Reshma Patel,
Favor.
Jim Collins,
I have to vote no because the first resolved, be it resolved, the Manhattan Community Board 6 approves the priority list. So no.
B. Disman,
In favor.
Paige Judge,
In favor.
Karen Moore,
In favor.
Gene Santoro,
In favor.
Brian Van Nieuwenhoven,
In favor.
Claude Winfield,
In favor.
Eva Marie Lassiter,
In favor.
Okay, with 9 in favor, 1 opposed, no abstentions, and nobody not entitled, the resolution passed.
Okay. That concludes the prepared portion of the agenda. Is there any old or new business that needs to be addressed tonight?
Turn off your phone, whoever it is. Okay,
It's you.
not likely.
Okay, if I see no further
Something,
items, do I have a motion to adjourn?
definitely from me.
Yes, so do.
I'll
Second?
second it.
Okay, all in favor?
Oh, aye.
You can say aye, thank you.
Aye.
Aye.
Aye, thank you.
Aye,
Thank you. Yes.
All opposed? Thank you very much. We're done. And I will see you again in half an hour.
Thanks, Rick.
Thank you.
Jim?
And thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Karen, if you have any questions, just get in touch with me and I'd be happy to help out.
I'll pass them by you tomorrow.
Oh, that's